So the gardens, vegetable gardens. Let me touch on vegetables for just a moment. We've grown peas. We started planting those back in March, April. They were really growing like crazy. We've been harvesting those, and they're fading. They don't like summer. Peas like it cold. They don't like it hot. And so, a suggestion that can really help you utilize getting accessing more crop rotations through your small gardens would be to simply swap out peas for beans. Beans love the summer. They have no interest in spring at all. They're really late to come out. If you plant those back in first of all part of April, it'll be a month, 6 weeks before they start to come up and look like something. But if you were to plant peas, get those going. Then you harvest all the peas, so they like the cold. When they're fading, so the vines are starting to go, they look terrible. They haven't produced in a while. Rip those things out of the ground. They don't deserve to be in your gardens. Take that space, kind of add a little bit more compost, kind of revitalize or re-energize that garden row or that gratin plot or that where you're growing up that trellis. I like to climb things, and plant your beans right after that. Beans are the same way. You'll get a whole nother crop rotation out of that same garden space that you would otherwise just be one crop and you're done. They call it square foot gardening. And a lot of our gardens here are in raised beds or containers. Our soil is so bad that we tend to bring in our own soil. I'm tired of the struggle. I'm going to plant in my own soil. That's why I tell folks, if you're planting, if you really have struggled and you just don't know where to do, start with the soil. Go to your garden center and go, hey, I'm struggling. My plants don't seem to thrive. Your plants look so good. I want that dirt you're using to start your starter plants in. I want some of that in my yard. Just ask for that. So where is your growers mix? And most garden centers, the bigger ones at least, they're growing, they're selling their soil, a better grade soil that they've made for their plants. If you can take a plant and give it more of what it's known in its entire life. So it started by seedlings. So we call it Watters potting soil. It's the recipe, the science where you're tweaking, try to make sure, because we have every interest in getting every single seed to germinate. We want every one of those things to be successful. We have a vested interest in making sure if we throw away things, that just adds to the dump fees or stuff. We want every single one to germinate, thrive, and look full, come in full tray of ready to go cucumbers or tomatoes or peppers or flowers. If you go, hey, what do you grow those in? And put the top layer of your raised bed with Watters potting soil. You take our plant from us and start in that, you're going to have great success. Much more than getting some generic mix. You're not quite sure what it is, but it doesn't quite look good. You put that plant. So a plant loves more of what it knows. Plants don't like to root from one type of soil to a different one. They struggle with that. And they for sure don't like to go from a rich, thick, luscious, I say apple tree, this beautiful, rich, we've grown it in this soil, and then you chuck it into your crummy, caliche-ridden landscape soil. It's not going to like that. It's going to struggle. It's going to have transplant shock. So the closer you can get to what it's grown in, the better off you are. That, and if you know your garden center is got great looking plants, and you can get some of and they're starting seeds or cuttings in that type of soil, if you can get some of that and start your own seedlings or your own cuttings in that same soil, they've been working that soil for decades. We tweak it very much. We test it between all the other models going, okay, let's see which one's growing the best. We'll actually put them side by side in the greenhouse and see which one grows the best. That's the one we want. Cost does not matter. What matters for us as growers is, what's the shrink loss? What's the most success? We don't want death. We don't want a dead cell. We want every single perfect plant coming in at the same time. That's what we're looking for. That's worth almost anything. And so we're trying to create soils that will give us that consistency, because we're making money off just selling tomatoes or petunias here at the garden center with perfect plants. If they're oddball stuff, well, that's what the farmer's market is for. I just took some dirt out of the soil, I started some seed, and here they don't all look consistent. Some look sicklier or better than others. I'll take the nice one. Here we want every single one to be perfect. So if you can get some of that soil and put it in that top, don't even mix it into your raised beds. Just add a top layer so your seedlings or your starts or your seeds start in that mixture, and you'll find that your success rate goes up off the charts. It's a game changer. But I guess I started out with pull the peas out, put the beans in. It's time. You might add a little bit more potting soil in that area just so the seedlings take off right away. But yeah, we're in that planting season. That's how you up your game and get more produce out of a smaller space in your gardens. Be right back.